Hey, you wanna hear a story? I've been reading some investment books to be capable of saying that I'm a Sigma. Just joking, real Sigmas don't know how to read, and it really makes me laugh to see how they tell stories about some of the greatest geniuses in history either making masterful moves to earn money or being ridiculously stupid. So this video will be the good, the bad and the ugly, but with investment cases from people you'd expected to get it perfect. Let's start with the good. Thales of Miletus, one of the so-called
Seven sages of Greece.
he studied the stellar and climatic cycles of the Earth extensively, observing their relationship with crops. And thanks to that, he was able to predict a year of great olive abundance. So he proceeded to rent every single olive press in the region, months in advance, and even paying up front. Those who rented the presses to him thought it was a bargain, since it was time of poor harvest and they just assumed Thales was crazy.
But when the great harvest came,
Just as he had predicted, he rented out the presses at a sky-high price, earning himself a fortune. According to Thales, he did this to prove that philosophers could be skillful in business with their way of thinking, but I mean, come on.
next, the bad.
Sir Isaac Newton. That's right, one of the greatest scientific geniuses in all of history was an absolute idiot when it came to investment. In the spring of 1720, Newton owned shares in the South Sea Company, which at the time was the most prized stock in England, valued at £175. But when the shares dipped slightly and he thought the market was getting out of hand, he sold all his shares for 100% profit, earning approximately £7,000. However, a few months later, the shares had skyrocketed even further. Every share he had sold for £350 was now worth £700. So he bought back his shares and was thrilled to see them rising even higher, eventually even reaching the £1,000 per share. Until the bubble burst. Newton couldn't sell his shares in time and they plummeted to less than £200 each, resulting in a loss of over £20,000. If you're wondering how much that will be today, according to a book, it was roughly over 3 million as of 1972. Adjusting to inflation, that's over 22 million in today's money. It is said that Newton remarked, I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of men. And forbade anyone from using the words South Sea in his presence for the rest of his life. A great lesson about go out when you're winning. The final case, the ugly.
Albert Einstein.
He spent a good part of his time inventing a refrigeration system alongside his colleague Leo Szilard. They managed to create a fridge without moving parts that also didn't rely on the toxic chemicals used as refrigerants at the time. It all sounded like a recipe for success and fortune, and in fact companies like AEG bought the patents for their designs. But unfortunately, their model never took off because during that time traditional electric refrigerators became cheaper and more efficient. I was going to call this case the middle, because while it didn't bring him great wealth, the time and money invested in an area you wouldn't expect Einstein to be involved in helped him fund some of his future works. But I honestly ended up calling it the ugly because I remembered the movie title while writing the script and thought, a fridge from behind is ugly as fuck. So it still fits. These three cases really catch my attention because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you would expect that any of these three, given their legendary status in their fields, will know how to do business, without creating monopolies. And there are plenty more stories like this, so maybe one day you'll be able to brag about being better at business than Isaac Newton. Hey!
I want you.
To subscribe to this channel, give me a great like, and have a beautiful day.